Well, hopefully you can hear this. Today at the bench here, I was making, trying out a few different types of seats for the mega trucks. A couple of people asked me for them. This one here is just basic, not too much foam in it, although there is foam seating in it. Then I thought, well, let's try to get a little bit different, and let's go and add a little bit more foam in it. And then I said, well, that kind of looks a little bit awkward. So I took it one more step up, and we got foam on the armrest and all the way down the bottom. And because most people like to, add seat belts or 5-point harness or something like that, they can actually drill through this because the backing is just all aluminum. So pretty much like, from what I understand, the way you'd make a mega truck seat. So I've already cut some out. I've got a template from all my other ones when I just used aluminum, and I just bend it up. Now we're going to add some some seats to it, or foam to it. So pretty much I've already got some sets of foam cut out for the padding, and then take some contact cement, and we're going to do both sides of this. You want to make sure you rough up the aluminum though, otherwise it's not going to stick. And even then, it probably at one point may just be able to peel it right off, but it'll pull the glue right off the aluminum. Just make sure you get everywhere covered good. Now you gotta let both sides dry. And what I did was I laid down my foam parts the way that they're going to be glued onto it, to the opposite side, so that way we're not getting confused. The other side will have the magic markers markings on it, because I actually use part of the frame to create these foam pieces, because sometimes, no matter how good you are with the template, they don't always come out to be exactly the way they should be. So it doesn't take that long to get a coating. Normally it'll actually get kind of shiny and tacky. Once you get to that part, then we can actually glue down the foam. Yeah, I think that's the best one out of them. Plus I got it actually glue right down to the frame, so that'll give somebody's driver a nice comfortable seat. Alright, we're getting close. As you can hear, we got a nice Thunder Boomer going in the background. It's kind of moving away from us. Had some pretty good ones close by that were almost made me jump out of my seat. The foam that I'm using, it was just pretty much from like Hobby Lobby or something like that. 89 cents. Silly Winks foam sheets. You can get it in a variety of colors and thicknesses. The black is nice and thin. You can't tell by the camera there. And the gray is actually a little bit thicker, and that's what I'm using for the foam padding on the inside of the seats. And then I just cover them up with or cover it up with the foam itself. Yep, we're close. Alright, now one thing about contact cement, you only get one shot. So you got to make sure you're pretty darn close to it and ready to roll. Otherwise you'll be ripping it all off and doing it again. Just make sure you press it down good everywhere. So pretty much what I did was I left just a little bit of a rib all the way around it, so that way it kind of gives you the effect that it's stepping down and all that. I saw a couple spots here where it's actually a little bit large for it, and if I get it right now I should be able to peel that off without too much trouble. And we got one more spot down here at the bottom. Oh, there's one over there too. But yeah, if you get it right away, you should be able to make adjustments to it. Now, see, I wasn't following my own pattern here. Alright, that'll work. Now what I did was to get the creases in the seats is I actually made another template or another piece of foam like that, but I actually cut it in 3 pieces. So that way it'll kind of give the sections, and when you put the top black foam on, it actually looks like there's been stitching in the seats and everything. Same thing with that though. Make sure that you have them laid down in the right order that you're going to be putting the glue on. Otherwise, you know, they could be backwards or anything. And you don't want that, because then you'll be trimming. Especially on this layer here. This one's a little bit tougher because you're on top of foam already. So, and even though there's going to be spaces in the middle, you can go ahead and put it all over everything. Now this shop is quite wide open. We've got a breeze running through here. Otherwise, if you're in an enclosed space, you make sure you get a respirator or something like that. This contact cement is pretty toxic. Works great, but get it in the right order. Alright, sit down there. I noticed too with the contact cement, if you get it while it's drying on your fingers, you can, if you don't wear gloves, you can actually just rub this stuff right off. It's kind of like Elmer's glue at this point. After that, if it hardens, it'll take a little bit to get off, some kind of spirit or something like that. But boy, this rain is not letting up. Well, you know, don't have any kind of license for any of that music on the back side of that, so not that I'm monetized anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. But I kind of promised a lot of people that I would start showing you how to do some metal work, how to, you know, anything that I do along the lines. While this is drying, we're still working on a couple of trailers here. That's a 44-inch, which would be like scale 110, 44-foot gooseneck trailer, and there's another one sitting up there. That one there is for Nick over at RC Hobbies, and then we got Scott Souders right there that still needs a few more pieces. But we're getting there. You know, we finally got the bench sorted out, got some shelving up here. Seem to keep on getting more and more tools added to the shop, which this is not a great big place. I mean, I've got I think it's about 12 by 17, something like that anyways. But alright, we're getting close. Yeah, we're getting close. Alright, so I guess we can start at the bottom. We know where the crease is going to go, and we want to be just below the crease on that one. I mean, you can start pressing them down, but picked up the other one already. Guess this one's excited to get in the game. Okay, so this is the second layer of foam that's on here. Again, make sure you press it down nice and snug so everything, all the surfaces get all the glue squished out or stuck together. At this point, because I do have some black on my fingers from other stuff, it's getting on the gray. Doesn't matter to me because this is getting covered in black anyways, so that's no big deal. Now if you were doing these in gray seats, then you'd have to be extra careful. A lot of times I'd probably just use a pair of gloves and use a pair of gloves and then throw them out in between each level. So, alright, when it comes down here to putting the black vinyl surface on, what I've been doing is you take a silver Sharpie and you go around what you have here, and pretty much all I'm doing is just kind of have an idea of where I'm going to put the contact cement on this black foam, because I'm not going to cut this out because I'm going to be pushing it down and squishing it all over the place, and we want to make sure we have enough. If I were to cut it exact, it's probably not going to show up, or it's not going to be the right size. So, more contact cement. I'm going to go, on this one here, I'm not even going to stay inside the lines, because you want a little bit of it to be able to stick it on the outside of the frame too, the metal aluminum frame here, or the bucket I guess you'd call it. We're going to get it down inside the crevices here, make sure we got it in the creases, all the way down the sides of each one of these things. Now I'm not worried about getting it on the back because this stuff here will actually, I can be able to rub it off, so I'm not too worried about that. I try not to get that much on there because it is a pain in the butt to get it off, but being on aluminum, the back side is smooth. I didn't sand the back side. Like I think I already stated earlier, I actually sanded the aluminum so that the contact cement would have some place to grip. And let's see if we can get that last little section here. Alright, I think we got enough on that. Now the brushes I'm using, they're just cheap. You can buy them at a big pack for $3 over at Harbor Freight. Once you're done with them, get rid of them. You can throw them away. Seal up the can. Get it out of the way. I'm going to sit here just like before, watching paint dry. Well, pretty much. So getting stuff out of here, keep some. The old bucket seats, normally I was selling for around $10 each. I'm not sure what I'm going to sell these things for. I mean, they do take a little bit extra effort, a little bit extra time. But the effect on them is really amazing. I really do like the way they look. I mean, you could actually put this into like a, you know, like an off-road RC crawler or something like that. They kind of look that good. Alright, how close are we? We're getting there. Alright, when it comes to this, you can still see the outline a little bit on the foam here. So we're kind of centering it up because that's where we know where all the glue's sitting. Start at the top, work your way down, press it in. Now, to make it easy to get it in all the spots, I just take a knife and cut it out of the foam here. That way I can actually press it down and make sure it's getting into all the spots that it should be getting into. more on the back than I thought. You can turn it over here. You can see how you can push it right into the metal here. And the foam, the gray foam that we have underneath there. I'm going to come back with a pair of scissors and clean it all up. And then just press it down here. I got a ruler here. Trying to get it down right down in the creases that we have there. That may have not been dry as everything else was. Wondering if I didn't get enough glue in some of the spots because seems like it doesn't want to grip it. Alright, and then we're just going to come back with a pair of scissors and trim off the excess. Of course, it doesn't stick to the aluminum right now, but it's sticking to everything else. And even when you're done, you can come back with some sandpaper and actually shape the foam the way you want it if it's not coming out the way you want it. And I've been cutting on an angle just to give me more of an edge that I can push down on here. Make sure it actually grips it pretty good. You're not trying to cut the aluminum, even though this is a pair of scissors, you might want to try to. Or actually, aluminum's soft enough that you could probably cut it with it. Won't be good for scissors, and don't use your mom's scissors or your wife's favorite scissors. You'll never hear the end of that. You are going to end up with a little bit of glue on your scissors. Okay, so pretty much this is what you end up with. You can see the foam underneath the main, or underneath the cover. I suppose you could probably use cloth for this too if you wanted to. Alright, now in this case, because I don't want to put it in a metal brake, all we're doing is we're going to take a square that I have, line it up on the crease. You can see where the crease is because you got the two indents there. And you got a groove in the foam there, and you're just going to pull up to about 30 degrees or so. And you can adjust the seat afterwards. Now the headrest we're going to adjust just a tad as well, probably about the same amount. Right, you can see how the crease is starting to really show up there. That's where we had the foam in there, or the two pieces of foam together. Now, you can get all kinds of different types of these. They're pretty much used for sheet metal. And these ones here, I don't know, they're about 30 or 40 years old. I used them years ago. So pretty much what we're doing is going from the shoulder mount down to that crease there, and then we're going to do this side. We're just going to bend them in, give them a little bit of a kind of like the bucket seat, where it's kind of the racing seat, where it's kind of holding you in. And you just eyeing it, because you never know. Sometimes the way you cut these things, they don't come out exactly perfectly straight like you wanted them to, but alright, this top one here is not working with us. We're not getting our top crease here from the glue. Might have been still a little bit wet in there. But there you go. That's pretty much, I don't know, let's get some light on it so you can see it any better. Yeah, this one here, I guess we can fold it a little bit more. Yeah, I like that a lot better. So that one there, I added a little bit more extra foam on the sides. It's taking a lot more issue with trying to stay stuck down, but that's how we do racing seats for RC Mega Trucks.